with some opening comments from Coach.
All right, thanks, Dave. Obviously, I appreciate the crowd and everything for the pregame for the Moore family. That was unbelievably special for them and for our program. I appreciate Illinois and Brad and his staff willingly. I talked to him a few weeks ago. To wear the ties and to it was a special day for really hard, but a really special day for everybody, and specifically the Moore family and Howard. It was awesome to see him here and be with him before the game. But in the game, in terms of, I thought our fight was really good from a number of people. Guys really played hard. We continue to have a lapse here and there, and that's going to get exposed against better teams. Some offensive rebounding in the first half that gave them some buckets. I thought we got in a situation 7-minute mark, somewhere in there, where we fouled too much. I think we went 3 straight between a layup given up after a free throw that we had made, and then 2 straight fouls, one in transition and one on Shannon on a jump shot that you can't do against at this level, against this type of team, to give them a little momentum. And the game was obviously a 3-point game or 2-point game at that time. In fact, we had the lead when the layup got given up to tie it. So I think, like I said, I just from the effort that I got from a certain number of guys, it really showed me some grit that guys have, and guys that got to continue to work at it and get better at it, because this is this has been, these guys don't like this, obviously. We got competitors. I thought foul trouble hurt us again. Steve got him out of rhythm, having John, AJ on the bench towards the end of the first half, and John obviously in a game where you have to play a lot of small ball, not having him on the floor the last 5 minutes or 4 minutes when he fouled out. So that'll take questions.
Jeff, go ahead.
They're a tough team to defend, obviously, if you look at their numbers. How do you think your defense did for the most part?
I'll have to look through the tape and see to see exact breakdowns. I thought Shannon hit some tough shots in the first half. I thought we were transition defense. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, because I don't know exactly how that gets statted in 19 in transition. I thought the first half offensive rebounding, and a little bit in transition. And we turned the ball over 7 times, and I think they had 14 points off 7 turnovers. And they're not all live ball turnovers, but it's, when you turn it over, you're not scoring. So, and you knew you had to score. This game wasn't going to be 50-48. We knew we had to be able to score, and like I said, to be able to defend the small ball lineup. This is the most we've played small, and we've done it at times, but not for this extent. But then having the guys in foul trouble, and then other guys not step up and contribute and really help us, hurt that effort when you have to play that small. Yeah.
Michael?
What were you looking for in that matchup between Tyler and Marcus? I guess what were you hoping for?
Well, he forced him into tough shots, and he hit some tough ones. Give him credit. He's a hard matchup. I'm watching all the film. He's been guarded 20 different ways. They put small guys on him. They put big guys on him. They've tried to go double him. They've doubled him with little guys. They brought it from the backside. I just felt that we force him into tough shots, minimize the threes, because they obviously spread you out. It's a very similar approach to what Penn State did a year ago with Pickett. And then, when we did get him to miss, there were some offensive rebounds that we didn't come up with. And again, when it's this tight of a game, coming down the stretch, you have to, John got his 5th foul on an offensive rebound. So you got to clean up when you do get him to miss. You got to clean those things up. And that was, I thought, I'll go through it. He's strong. It's a hard matchup. It's like trying to guard Tyler Wall. It's just get you to do a dribble back down, and you got shooters everywhere, and they're running some actions. So trying to play as much one-on-one as you can, knowing that there's a lot of other stuff going on around you, and So, that answer your question, Mike? Okay.
Greg, amidst this tough stretch, I know it's got to be one game at a time, but is it hard to not look at the bigger picture?
And what's the big picture?
Just in terms of standings and seedings and things like that?
No, I mean, no, because you're still trying to climb. You know, this league is hard. This is one of the better teams in the country. You know, we got enough that we have to continue to try to get better at that'll help us going forward. So right now it's all about Rutgers and getting ready for that as we head into next week. And, you know, we just get playing consistently. We play good basketball at times, but we're inconsistent. And some of that's, you know, guys that get themselves in foul trouble. It's contributions off the bench. We can't lose water or momentum. As I always say, when guys come off the bench, we can't go backwards. And you know, so it's that. And when you really get in the real trenches of these type of fights, it exposes those, you know, the grit and that we need to continue to spread and build throughout everybody that steps on the floor. Yeah.
Coach over here. You were talking about playing small ball a little bit, and with the foul trouble with Stephen Krell. Can you talk about that decision to go with the 4-guard lineup for some extended minutes?
Yeah, I mean, we plan to do it anyway, just because, you know, really their only true post player they're playing is Danja. So we expected, knowing he plays about 7 minutes a game, that we were going to have to play small. And then you prepare if Steve's in there. You know, it's coincidentally got himself in foul trouble, which really, with the small lineup, didn't matter. Didn't matter from a defensive standpoint. It actually helps you defensively. I thought our advantage to be able to keep Steve on the floor is what we could do offensively with him. But the defensive component, without Danja, it's hard for a big to be able to match and run with Hawkins because he's sliding out of so many screens. And Gary Air is the only other option really, and you're or Rogers, you know. But that's, you know, if you put him on a non-shooter, that makes it a little easier. But when you have Domas doing booty ball and then 4 shooters and actions around it, it's hard for a 7-footer that's not. He's used to, you know, wrestling in the post, so it's a complete change of defensive concepts for him. So that didn't. Yes, offensively that hurt us with him on the bench. You know, he's a good offensive player, but how we were going to have to guard them, it probably was lining up that way a lot anyway, regardless of his foul trouble.
Jesse?
Greg, you mentioned a couple weeks ago when you talked to the team, you'd reminded them that they had played at a very high level for a long time, and they had been that more than they had been, you know, during a losing streak.
Right.
What is your level of concern about whether what has happened since February is fixable at this point as you get this kind of runs longer?
Well, we're playing some decent teams. Today was obviously a really good. You just keep working away at it. You know, you keep pointing out the things that we have to get better at, and it varies from individual to individual. So other than continue to teach and point out things and help guys get better, I thought in terms of the fight we played with, you know, specifically the guys that got the major minutes, it was good. You know, that I haven't had to really worry about that. You know, it's a matter of, you know, the margin for error is so slim amongst any team. You know, really, like I said, the only outlier really in our league is Purdue, and Edie makes them the outlier. So your margin for error is really slim, and all those things I've talked about in terms of, you know, fouling, getting wrong guys in foul trouble or anybody in foul trouble, you know, getting them to miss a tough shot, come up with a rebound. It's all individual or just small little things that when you stack them together, it puts you in a bad position. So, and you continue to push, and you continue to reward the guys that are playing winning basketball and making winning plays, and that has a lot of it has nothing to do with what shows up on a score sheet, on a stat sheet. So you keep rewarding those guys and pointing out the good, and then helping the guys that are trying to find that space for them.
A couple more for Coach Jim and then Michael.
Right, it's not always easy to keep perspective, and today's kind of a perfect example. I mean, you have what happened before the game, so powerful, and then you have a game to play. How do you balance that?
Well, I've had 5 years of practice. You know, this has been And I was able to at least show that minute 30 little footage they showed before Howard came out to the team earlier this week, because I knew it was going to be an emotional dump on everybody, and really kind of give them the backstory of Howard even prior to the accident, because I knew we had to play a game, right? So I didn't want them to be emotionally shook. Other than seeing Howard, they didn't get a chance to see Howard before the game until he came out. I did, and my staff did, which I'm glad we did, because that was hard. And but yeah, it's perspective. As Brad said before the game, as I thanked him for wearing the ties, he goes, "There's a lot of things in life that are bigger than basketball, and this is one of them." That I'm happy that we're able to do this today for Howard and his family and everybody that put so much time into making this happen, and really not letting people forget. I think that's sometimes today in the world we forget, we move on because lives are moving so fast, but tragedy struck one of our own, and it's great to see all his former teammates back, and they've been nonstop with their support job, that the sacrifice and commitment that Richard has made to help Trennis and Howard Sr. and Howard Abase and Jarrell. So it's just Chucky, I was told, had an unbelievable statement in here about how special it is to be part of this program, and yeah, we all want to win more games, and we will, but this gives you it's much more than a slap in the face, Jim. This gives you a cold, hard, direct punch, but I'm just thankful for everybody, and thank administration all the way down, all the people that were involved. This was a long process to put this together, and very fortunate that Howard was able to be here, and he knew where he was. I know that he knew where he was. He gave me a big smile when I saw him prior to the game, and squeezed me so tight. He's gotten stronger. He squeezed me really tight.